Hola. People, crazy stuff's going on here. Well, it is the 19th. It's 4 days after the tornado hit our house. Oh, people, it is so crazy. It's surreal. It's like impossible for us to fully process that this happened. Everyone is okay. Everyone in our whole town is okay, actually. There's extensive damage. It was actually super powerful. It was F3, and just pretty much unheard of up here. And extremely unusual in that while the wind powers were very strong, like 165 miles per hour at its peaks, it moved slower than any storm ever, I guess. Like, it took half an hour to go 7 miles. So it was incredibly destructive because it wasn't moving through quick. I mean, it was just as powerful winds, but sustained for an incredibly long duration of time. We were fortunate enough to be on the street, one of the streets that went down. So it's crazy. It's really hard to accept because, the neighbors over here and the neighbors over there, nothing happened to them. Not a twig. Nothing happened to them. And we had a huge maple be blown apart and smashed against our house. And then we have a really big piece of property that's kind of unusual. It's L-shaped, so it's on 2 streets. And it's like the tornado literally came around our L. It didn't, if it had been in a straight line, it would have just gotten some by the road. No, it came up our hill, blew the tree apart against our house, which was massive, massive, big old, gigantic maple, which was fortunately enough, just far enough away from our house, not to completely demolish it. Blew it against the house, and then literally took an L with our property and knocked down all the trees down our driveway. And then went down the street, get all the ones along the road, then all the ones up the neighbor. Unbelievable, truthfully. It's really unbelievable. And then now we've had all the trees cut down and cleaned up, so there's just these huge massive stumps uprooted and everything. And it looks so weird and bizarre, it's like you just drove onto Mars. But, and it's hard to, once it's cleaned up, it's hard to deal with what it really looked like. And thank God it's cleaned up, because it was really scary and traumatic for all of us to see it, and really too much for the kids to see that, because it's a reminder of it, but it's also a reminder of how really powerful the storm was. And, there's a level of terror involved in that. We just we haven't had, the insurance adjuster has not come out yet, which is I don't understand. And we found out that they won't cover any of the property damage or trees, which of course we knew you could never replace the value of those trees. We'll never in our lifetime have trees like that on here. But we thought it would get cleaned up, and then, maybe you'd have an allowance for planting new trees. No, they don't even clean it up. Nothing. It's completely our responsibility. And that was several thousands of dollars to do that work. And fortunately, we had amazing volunteers that came on Saturday and cleaned it all up for us. And we had some crazy lumber guy who lives off firewood come and cut up the huge massive tree and cart it off. So all the wood is gone, and it's all as cleaned up as it can be right now and safe for right now. Except for the gigantic hole off of our driveway, which is completely unsafe, and hopefully that's going to be covered by insurance, because that's going to be some kind of extremely expensive thing to try to fix. And so we've been kind of paralyzed. No one tells you how to handle this, and they don't really, I would have thought they kind of handle it for you. They do not. They do not handle it for you. So we kind of thought the house damage wasn't going to be so bad, but it turns out today, finally, some contractors came out, and it's actually pretty extensive, and we might need to have the whole side of our house taken down and rebuilt. There's structural damage. And we might need to have our entire roof redone. So, and the siding done on 2 parts of the house. So that's overwhelming, but we're signed to and I was scared because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm by myself, and all these people keep coming to the door. It's really kind of scary and overwhelming, and people are soliciting you constantly, and you don't know who to use or what's right or what to do, and it's too much. And there's weird freaks walking around, driving around, taking pictures of everything, and it's like feels really horrible, you know. And so I did today sign a contract with a disaster kind of contract service specialists to just start working. They work with the insurance, and hopefully we just are hands off and walk away not having to pay anything out of pocket is like the hope. And that they, for the house part, that they'll get everything covered, and that's their specialty, is working with the insurance and getting everything priced right so that we can get the most work done, you know. And that meant we could get the whole roof professionally tarped by them. Like, they can't do it unless you sign a contract, and so that's good because it's much better tarped than what Mr. F was able to do. So, you know, it's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's super sad. It's super scary. It's scary to think about all the feelings and what happened, and it was really super terrifying, and like as terrifying as you'd think it would be. And to emerge to see that level of destruction was like unimaginable. And even though I put pictures up, I know, like, because you're not here to see the scale, I mean, our yard is huge and the trees were huge and it was all filled with them. I mean, it was just like horrifying. I mean, it's just like, I can't believe, you know, we're fortunate that only one tree hit the house, although it's like hard to feel fortunate when you were hit by a tornado and your neighbor wasn't. I mean, it's not exactly fortunate. Anyway, super unfortunate. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to drive down the town and see most of it is fine and perfect and everyone's going out to get ice cream and you're like, what happened? You know, like, it's really crazy. So it's really hard to deal with it. There's a lot of feelings, you know, obviously, that I think are pretty legit. We just have to move forward. I want to write or talk extensively about tornado preparedness because we were prepared, and I think it's important that everyone take this seriously. Climate change is for real, people. It is 80 degrees in the middle of March in Michigan, and, you know, an F3 tornado just went through our town. I mean, this is for real. This is for real. If you think it can't happen to you, I mean, you're crazy. It could obviously happen to anyone. And people have said, like, oh, it happened, now it will never happen again. That's not true, idiots. No, now you know it can happen. No, I was watching the news like 3 weeks ago from some poor family in the South that had just rebuilt their house from tornadoes last year, got it hit again. So I'm not buying into that. I'd be more prepared than ever. So yeah, this is a pretty hard experience, and it's really hard on the kids. Kid is particularly depressed and like wasn't eating and doesn't want to talk or do anything, and had a total breakdown when we were trying to do math today. Yeah, like, she's not doing good. I mean, it's terrifying. It's totally terrifying. And they were terrified before it happened, you know, let alone when it happened, you know, and then to be like, you know, it's just pure terror. So, yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But we're hoping to just be able to move on, and like the landscape is different, and that makes it hard because you look at it and you remember, but hopefully like soon we'll adjust to it and move on. I hope we can get this driveway hole fixed soon so it's not, I don't have to worry about something dangerous. I can't let the kids out there now. And that our house gets fixed and just have to leave it up to the hands of the insurance companies and these contractors to just hopefully do right by us. Like, it's kind of set up so there's not much you can do. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Obviously not paleo anymore. Yeah, that ended as soon as the tornado hit. And just feeling overwhelmed. I haven't even done our taxes, and now I just feel like I can't even put this kind of energy into something right now. It's too overwhelming. More so now that the contractors came and I found out how much damage there really is to the house. So we're trying to figure out what to do. I'm trying to get as much help as possible. There's like disaster relief funds, but it's not organized yet, so we don't know like how to submit claims to try to get help with some of this or what happens. And it's like frustrating how much you have to keep digging to try to get help, you know, official help. You know, volunteer help actually came easily, but like getting the actual insurance company or the contractors or this relief fund to help you is like really difficult, and you're not really in an emotional state or of strength to do this. We haven't slept in days, so that's kind of what's going on. And never a dull moment. All right. We're trying not to be too sucked down into this pit abyss, but like just trying to like keep our heads up and like one step at a time, and things will get better.